Hey everybody, once again, this is Daniel Gallant from PennLive. I'm here in Philadelphia, and we're going to get joined by Jon Ritchie in a couple of minutes to preview this weekend's big Eagles-Rams game out in Los Angeles. Eagles are 10-2, just dropped their first game in a couple months to the Seahawks on Sunday, different position than they've been in for a while. And Jon's going to come on and talk to us a little bit about that. Hopefully this time the technical difficulties will let that happen. So as we wait for Jon, it's a very interesting matchup this weekend. The Rams have a bit of a resurgence under their new coach, Sean McVay. Jared Goff has really blossomed into a NFL caliber quarterback. And so, it's, tough sometimes for, to kind of really drill down on those quarterback battles, because they don't actually, go against each other. But it'll be interesting to hear what Jon has to say about that. So hopefully this time it works. Hey Jon, how are you?
Hey, looks like it worked.
I know, it seems like we should always start at the second time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't know that you're the tech expert.
Hey, that's what they tell me. I have a lot of studying to do. But yeah, thanks for joining us tonight. I hope you're having a good Wednesday. And I think before we get into this weekend's game, I think the best place to start would be what happened on Sunday night. I think you said last week you were pretty confident that Eagles were going to win.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people were feeling the same way. I mean, what happened? Now what?
It was a game where everything that could go wrong did, and very frustrating to watch. I'm sure it was very frustrating to play in. Everything, when I say everything that could go wrong did, the week before against the Chicago Bears, Jay Ajayi breaks a run, fumbles going into the end zone, and it just so happens to bounce right into Nelson Aguilar's arms for a touchdown. This time, opening drive of the second half, they drive right down the field, and Carson Wentz fumbles the ball into the end zone, and this time it goes through the back of the end zone, erasing a great drive and putting the Eagles in a position where they did not run the ball at all from that point on. The game should have been closer. The game should have been neck and neck. The Eagles should have won. They are the better team. But a combination of noise, erasing the advantage that Vitae has of knowing the snap count, that and coaching tight by Doug Peterson from the get-go, not going for it, not being aggressive. It just sort of sent a message. The Eagles looked like they were not ready to strut their stuff on the bright lights in the national stage. And the Seahawks looked like that's where they thrive best. So It really did give me some concerns moving forward. Once this thing gets to be a single elimination tournament, I hope that game serves as sort of a rallying cry for the Eagles team. And I believe that it will, but man, if there were four plays I can think of would have netted us touchdowns, and we got none. We scored 10 points, worst total of the season by a long shot. So this is the kind of thing you just have to put in the rear view and draw from it and learn what not to do. And I believe that Doug Peterson has shown us already that he is willing to adapt and change and get better. I admire that about him. So I think the Eagles will be fine.
What's kind of the biggest thing that you think that they need to address, not just this week, but the rest of the way? Where did you kind of come away from being like, oh, that's not really what I thought it was, or, oh, that won't play in the single elimination tournament.
Yeah. I mean, leaning too heavily on Carson Wentz's arm. There are a few plays every game where he sails it or he's inaccurate. And everything works so much better if you just run the ball more. And we didn't have a running back with double-digit carries against Seattle. And as I said, after Carson fumbled it going into the end zone, we didn't run the ball at all. We ran it 0 times from that point forward in the game. The game was not that out of hand that we needed to be throwing on every down, but we did. That needs to change. And I would love to see more Jay Ajayi. This was the first game since he arrived that Ajayi had the most snaps of the Eagles running backs. He was in on 41% of the snaps. That's a great sign, but I want him to get more carries. This is a guy who had, 200-yard games to his credit. He was a Pro Bowler. I want to see more of Jay Ajayi. And I'm hoping that down this stretch, we're in the last quarter of the season. I'm hoping that that's what we'll get.
So turning the page and now looking towards this weekend, the Rams, a bit of a surprise this year to have them atop NFC West. What stands out to you about the most impressive thing to them? Is it Jared Goff? Is it the defense? Is it McVay? What's kind of you think their X factor is this year?
Well, I mean, Sean McVay, what he's been able to do with that offense, what he's been able to do with Jared Goff. I mean, everyone thought he was a total bust last year, and he looked like it. And now he's so efficient. I mean, he's got more than 3 times the touchdowns as interceptions, and very efficient in the red zone and outside the red zone. I mean, this is a team that they what's the stat? They're tied with the Eagles for the most productive offense in the NFL, but they're 22nd in red zone touchdown efficiency. So what that tells you is this is a team that scores from everywhere on the field. They are big play machines, and Jared Goff's a big reason why. I mean, he can throw the short stuff very accurately, and he makes all those short dink and dunk throws, but they've got some speed on the outside, and they're not afraid to pull the trigger. The one thing I wonder about with and the thing was the Rams always had a great defense. They always had studs on that side of the ball. Guys like Aaron Donald, who's the best 3 technique in football. He's really getting going and had 2 sacks last week. He's a guy who scares everyone that plays. But no, I think just their offense, their offensive surge has been remarkable. And I wonder how much of that has to do with, a lot's been made this week, last couple weeks, about Sean McVay being in Jared Goff's helmet up until 15 seconds is left on the clock, the play clock. There have been people who have been sort of accusing Sean McVay of feeding Jared Goff with audibles, with reads and things like that on the field in real time. They're getting the play out there in a hurry so that he can get up to the line and still have his coach in his ear. Now, Sean McVay, he's debunked that. He's saying, no, that's a real discredit to Jared. He's been doing a great job, but I don't know. I don't know about that. And I think it'll be very interesting to see, because of his incredible leap from what he was last year to what he is this year. I think it'll be really interesting to watch this Eagles defense, because Jim Schwartz was asked about this ad nauseum in his press conference yesterday. How do you deal with, a coach in Goff's helmet up until 15 seconds before the play clock expires? Everyone's asking him, trying to get him to say, well, we're going to disguise things until after that 15 seconds is up. I think you are going to see a lot of that. I think you are going to see deception from the secondary and what are called stems of the front, where guys move right before the snap and that sort of thing. And I'm interested to see how Jared Goff reacts when a team really tries to take advantage of that possibility.
Mm-hmm. When you look at the Rams defense, Eagles just played a tough defense in Seattle, obviously do things a little bit differently. How do you see the Eagles being able to attack the Rams defense while also containing some of those pass rushers that they have?
Right. Well, they've got a ferocious pass rush. They have a lot of skilled athletes, that's for sure. Then they fly around and make plays. Wade Phillips is a genius, and guys love playing for him. Their defensive coordinator, he just cuts guys loose, and he does a great job. It's par for the course for him to have a defense playing as well as the Rams are. The problem is there's a little chink in the armor. They're 27th against the run. A lot of times when you have guys that are this aggressive trying to get upfield and get after quarterbacks, they get out of their lanes, their run lanes. They're a little overly aggressive. They can, because they're so fast, they tend to, over pursue and allow cutbacks and things like that. So 27th against the run, I would suspect the Eagles should try to run it a lot more than they did against Seattle.
You want to see a lot more Ajayi this weekend?
I would love it, yeah.
And so overall, what's your general takeaway and prediction for this weekend?
I love Todd Gurley. I really do. I mean, last year was just an aberration, and it was depressing to me to watch him being completely bottled up, after his rookie year 2 years ago, where I just said, man, this guy's complete. I love a good running back, and he is one, and they're using him in the pass game and the run game effectively. I don't think he's going to be able to do anything against this Eagles defense. That Mike Davis up in Seattle had a modicum of success against the number one run defense in the NFL. I think they're angry. I think they're going to take it out on Todd Gurley and the offensive line of the Rams. I think there couldn't have been a worse time for the Rams to meet this Eagles squad, because I do think they're that good, and they will be so laser focused this week. They're staying out there on the West Coast. They didn't come back to Philadelphia. It's all business, and they're just licking their chops to get out there on the field. I think you got two really good teams, but I think the Eagles come out on top, and I think they're going to score 30. I think it'll be 31-27.
Well, there you have it. WIP's Jon Ritchie, PennLive's NFL Insider. Read his column this week.
Yeah, I might have to drop the 27 part, because I think I'm talking myself into a lower scoring Rams end result, but I'm thinking about it.
Man.
Anyway, well, what do you think? I mean, how good is this defense going to be? I think they're going to be mad, and I love that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think
maybe I'll go 31-20.
I'd go 17 to 20 points. That's kind of that's where my head's at.
You feel 17 to 20 point victory?
No, giving up 17 to 20 points.
Got it. Okay. All right. Well, I'm not completely done here. I need to meditate on this, and ultimately I have a few days. So, but for tonight's purposes, the Eagles score in the 30s and the Rams score in the 20s.
Hey, be sure to check PennLive.com later this week to find out what John decides.
Thanks, Daniel.
All right, we'll see you next week.
See you, bud.
Thanks.